Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So, you want to build a bug out vehicle. Well, I'm Brian. I want to have a conversation with you today about that topic. So, I've been wanting to make this video for a long time, and so I figured, hey, today's the day. So, let me adjust my camera here. So, when COVID hit, a lot of prepping and a lot of survival channels were created, and people started not only prepping their pantries for the worst, but also it was a time that I started seeing a lot of vehicles out on the road with more of a bug out vehicle stance to it. And you know, some look pretty cool, decked out and things like that. And in no way, shape, or form am I going to knock anyone who's done this, but I really wanted to raise awareness to kind of get people thinking about if you're going to build a bug out vehicle or a end of the days rig, to keep in mind that the newer vehicles are full of electronics. And in the worst case scenario of, say, an EMP strike, those vehicles are going to be paperweights. And then there's another kind of flaw that I'm seeing in some of these vehicles too, that just want to make this to bring awareness to. You know, I served 12 years in the Army, and I've seen a lot of vehicles and rigs, and in my 25 years in the auto industry, I know that because of all these electronics, they're going to get damaged and leave the vehicle useless in a worst case scenario. So it's always important to, based on your location, to try to think of as much as you can when you're building your bug out vehicle to be prepared for, because of various things that could happen that you don't know about or you're not thinking about, such as the EMP strike and everything. But another thing I've seen, and I live in a small city. Some of you probably live in bigger cities, and a lot of you probably in rural areas where there's not a lot around, and that's cool. But the ones that I see in the cities or small cities, you know, I'm driving along and I'm checking them out. I'm like, oh, these are cool. Looks cool, but what's going to happen if this, or you know, what happens if that? And the biggest thing I see in like cities is the people that live in cities and they have, say, a Jeep or a 4Runner or a Pathfinder, those vehicles like that you commonly see decked out with the we call them in the military jerry cans, but they're spare fuel cans, like 5-gallon cans on the back. Maybe there's one or two of those, and then the ladders and the big mud tires, things like that. Well, that's all fine and good, but if you live in a small city, or a big city for that matter, you're driving a vehicle that gets 16, 17 miles to the gallon at best. And then odds are, if something happens, like imagine you're driving right now, you're driving along and stuff hits the fan. The world just goes haywire. Well, you're in the middle of traffic in a vehicle that gets 16, 17 miles to the gallon, and odds are you're not going to have a full tank. Odds are the world's not going to go down while you have a full tank of gas. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're saying, hey, well, Brian, I've got 2 5-gallon jerry cans in the back of my vehicle. I can just top off. Okay. This point number 2 is now you got 10 gallons at best to pour into your vehicle. So now that might top you off. Now, you're probably not going to have time to stop at a gas station because those lines are going to be packed if the stations are even open. Then you're looking, because you're in a vehicle that gets about 16, 17 miles to the gallon, even though it's 4-wheel drive and you can climb over trees and you got a good ground clearance, how far are you going? Where's your bug out site? Is your bug out site your house? Do you have some land? So really what I'm getting at is you've really got to have your bug out spot within a 250 mile radius of where you normally are at. You know, because sometimes you may have to run home and secure your family, get them loaded up if you're not together. You know, there's all kinds of different various scenarios that could happen. And this video is really not about those. It's about making sure you're choosing the right bug out vehicle to build if that's the route you're going. Any vehicle made from the 90s up has got some form of electronics, and the newer they get, the more electronics they have in them. So in the event of like the EMP strike, your vehicle is going to be a paperweight. And you know, here you got $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 into this vehicle that's now rendered useless because you wasn't prepared for the worst scenario. So my advice would be go out here and find you a cheap, old 70s, early 80s, try to even get back into the 60s, truck, SUV, van, something like that, and outfit that. Because is it better to lose $80,000 or 10? Because it probably cost you about under 10 grand to build a decent bug out vehicle if you pick an older canvas to add the parts. I mean, I know the equipment and things like that is going to add up, but you know, really I just want to make this video to mention, you know, some of these vehicles I see running around here, if you're building those for potential dangerous situations or bug out situations, they could probably be paperweights. And you know, think about the fuel mileage of the vehicle and where your bug out site is going to be so that a way maybe even find something that's even more little better fuel efficient than a big gas guzzling SUV. I mean, I know you need the space, but sure there's other, like you can even do a little 4-cylinder wagon that's old, you know, for those situations. So there's many options. You just got to be savvy and forward thinking about the potential dangers and know where you're bugging out to, and make sure you have mark down alternate routes, because if things happen, getting out of the city in the traffic is going to be a nightmare. So anyway, hope this video has been a help, and hope this kind of gets you thinking a little bit more. And stay tuned to the channel. We'll make more videos, and please like, comment, subscribe, and God bless. We'll see you on the next one.